Born on October 15th, 1858. October 15th was yesterday. But back in 1858, we have somebody, and you know this guy's got to be old. So he's definitely got to be somebody that is in a way, way, way back machine. We have a guy named John L. Sullivan. There he is. John L. Sullivan, ladies and gentlemen, was born October 15th, 1858, the son of Irish immigrants. And John L. was known as the Boston Strong Boy. And he was born in Roxbury, Massachusetts, which is like saying Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn is a neighborhood in the New York City, of New York City, and Roxbury is a neighborhood of Boston. So he's actually born in Boston. But Roxbury in Dorchester, Jamaica Plain, South Boston, North Boston, East Boston, but there is no West Boston. But he was born in Roxbury, Massachusetts, a neighborhood of Boston. And John L. Sullivan was the first heavyweight gloved champion, and by de facto means, in default, the last heavyweight bare knuckle champion. That's right. He came in as the bare knuckle champion and he left as the first heavyweight glove champion. Now, Sullivan was quite good at school. I know, just look at him. He doesn't look like he's, the articulate type. Like he's a guy who's studious, right? He just looks like a brawling brute right there. John L. Sullivan, USA. Looks like he's ready to fight right now. But John was actually pretty good in school, and he enrolled in Boston College. He was going to be a Catholic priest or somewhere close to that. But he dropped out. Yeah, he dropped out of school. There were kids dropping out of school even in 18, that would be 1878 around that time, make him 20, um, dropping out of school. According to John, quote, I threw my books aside and I gave myself up to it. I'm sure he's talking about sport. This is how I got into the baseball profession. I left school for good and all. From the baseball business, I drifted into boxing. End quote. Now, Sullivan became champion by defeating Patty Ryan on February 7th, 1882. So time is traveling pretty good here. He was 24 years old. He defeated Patty Ryan February 7th, 1882. And Sullivan solidified his reign when he knocked out the tough Jake Kilrain in the 75th round in 1889. That was called the fight of the century. It's amazing how many fights of the century that they have. That was the fight of the century. George Carpentier and George Dempsey was the fight of the century. Uh, Ali and Frazier was the fight of the century. Gosh, probably even more than that, more than we know. But he knocked out Jake Corain in the fight of the century in 1889. And that was the last bare knuckle fight. And during the buildup, it received a good amount of press coverage. And it made John L. Sullivan famous. Made him so famous that John L. enjoyed his newfound acceptance and notoriety and did not defend his title over the next 3 years. He just lived off it. Everywhere he went, they brought him drinks, they brought him dinner. He said, I can lick anybody in the house. And he probably could. And that's why they brought him drinks and they brought him dinner. But finally, he had to fight again. And this next fight was against James J. Corbett. And he lost that fight. And when he did, he retired from boxing. John L. Sullivan, the Boston Strong Boy, ended his career with 38 wins and one loss. Happy birthday. Happy posthumous birthday, John L. Thank you for the memories.